stuff related to old stuff.
That's profound.
And we were talking to each other and said, anytime you get talking about the new stuff as related to the old stuff, you can get some attention and what you can do with the new stuff in a practical way. So our speakers are from different parts of the country and have different responsibilities. Ms. Jill Lawlor is Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations at Cooper University Hospital in Camden, New Jersey. Lyle Green comes from MD Anderson. He's Vice President of Physician Relations. Dan Dunlop is President and Chief Executive of Jennings, a North Carolina ad agency. Please take it away. Thank you.
Rock and roll. Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Man, it's good to see a crowded room. You never know with the topics what's going to appeal to people, and I think you're all here to see Lyle and Jill, so I appreciate it, because I get to be the beneficiary of that. So I'm Dan Dunlop, and I'm going to set us up today. And then I'm really, once I do my thing, let Lyle and Jill tell their stories and give their case studies, because that's really where the meat is. But I'm going to start us off and tell you this story from the beginning. So, marketing to physicians. Marketing to referring physicians. This is one of my pet peeves. I have a lot of angst around this subject because I think it's so neglected in most hospitals and health systems. How many of you feel like it's neglected in your hospital? Be honest, raise your hand. And yet, what percentage of your business comes from referring physicians? It's amazing. We spend so much time creating ads, creating TV commercials, doing consumer marketing, and we all talk about consumerism and how important it is, and it becomes more important every day. But the physician becomes no less important. And so I have this angst that I carry around with me. The world is changing, and we need to recognize that when it comes to physician marketing. Some of the changes. In the old school ways, we do office visits, lunches, these cocktail parties. Physicians would get together and meet each other at the country club. They socialized. But the world has changed, right? Physicians today, especially the younger physicians coming up, they want something different from their life. They have different expectations. They don't want to work 24 hours a day. They want to have their job and go home and be able to have a life outside of work. And that's a relatively new thing in the world of medicine. Running a practice today is different than it used to be. All the physicians I know talk about how stressful it is and how they don't get to do what they love nearly as much as they used to, which is, what do they love to do? Practice medicine, right? And what are they doing? They're running a business. It's changed dramatically. That's why so many physicians are signing up to be employed physicians, where they don't have to worry as much about the business side of things. So all of this stuff that they used to do, this networking and socializing, requires time that, frankly, physicians don't want to put in today. The question I have for you is, where does the physician marketing, that marketing to that referring doc, live in your organization? Where does it live? What department runs that in your hospital? Somebody tell me. Lyle, what department in your hospital?
Clinical operations. We're in the patient care side of the house.
It's not the marketing department, is it? Yeah. I attended a session yesterday early afternoon. Bjorn was one of the presenters, and they were talking about, Jesse and Bjorn were talking about integrating the foundation. There's Jesse back there. Jesse and Bjorn were talking about integrating the foundation marketing with traditional brand marketing for the organization and really bringing those together. And they gave a great case study of how they've done it at children's hospitals and clinics in Minnesota. Well, I think the same is true for most of us. At least the need is true for most of us with this kind of physician marketing. Now, if we have an organization the size of Lyle's at MD Anderson, he can do a lot within his organization. He's going to share with you what he's been able to do. But most of us don't run organizations where the physician referral department or physician relations department, whatever you call it in your organization, really has the tools to market effectively today to these referring physicians. So I think it requires integration. The reality of physicians' life, and this was 2008, and the data keeps getting worse about physician satisfaction with their job. 78% find it less rewarding than it used to be. 76% said they're either at full capacity or overextended at work. So they're overworked, they're unsatisfied with their job. They would retire today if they could financially. And they're buried in paperwork. Tough. And what are they dealing with? You guys hear all this every day. They've got electronic health records now, patient registries, quality contracts with the insurance companies. They're trying to figure out how to deal with the patient-centered medical home initiative, with ACOs coming online. And they don't get enough time with each patient. That's a tough environment for us to then do our job, right? Because we still have to engage them and get them to send their patients to our organizations. That's challenging. The good news is there are some things they like about their job still. They love engaging with their colleagues. And that gives us hope. You know, if they like engaging with their colleagues, well, we can hopefully engage them with our star physicians, you know, and at least using some new tools to do that without having to take up a lot of their time after work and so on, or doing networking lunches. But look at, if you aren't following the rise of these physician-only networks, you're missing out. Sermo has over 120,000 physicians right now. I don't know how many are on Doximity, but I know Doximity is really hot right now. Doctors are going to these sites to network with other physicians, to share ideas, to get information, to say, hey, I've got this difficult case, I can't figure out, what do you think? They're doing this online. They're willing to use the internet to communicate with other docs to get advice. So where do we go from here? I think some of the things we need to be integrating, and this is why I think the physician relations department and the marketing departments need to work together, which is what Jill's doing at her organization, is bringing in some of these tools that help us reach today's physician, the social physician, I call them. The physician-only networks, mobile apps, social media. Yes, you can use social media to reach physicians. Physician blogs, online video, one of the easiest points of access to reach that referring physician. And then the physician portal on your website. I'm shocked at how bad most referring physician pages are on websites. You know, you go to the section with 4 health professionals, and what do you get? You get an 800 number or something in the name, maybe if you're lucky, of a physician liaison, but that's it. They're horrible. Lyle's got a good one I'll show you in a minute. So the reason we're telling you this story today, the reason we're here, is because Jill and I, how long ago, Jill? Was it 2 years ago? Yeah, over 2 years ago, decided we needed a really strong physician marketing program as a part of our overall marketing program for Cooper. So I did what I always do, which I started doing research. And I said, okay, what are the best practices out there in the industry? And I did some crowdsourcing. Y'all know crowdsourcing? It doesn't always work well, and it didn't work well in this case. I got on LinkedIn. How many of you belong to some kind of LinkedIn group? I love it. I think LinkedIn doesn't get enough credit. I love LinkedIn. I love being part of the groups. I like getting the daily e-blast with the discussions that are taking place. So, you see my lovely photo, that's like from 10 years ago. I still use it because I was thinner then. But I'm getting it. But I went on all these different LinkedIn groups, and I said, here's a way I can tap into other healthcare professionals. And it's the thing I love about social media. You know, 10 years ago when I was doing healthcare marketing for hospitals, I was isolated in my office in Chapel Hill. I would have to come to a conference like this to meet and share ideas with other healthcare professionals. Today I can just go on LinkedIn and do this. So I went on LinkedIn. I went on like 12 different groups and I posted the same thing. I'm looking for novel and effective tactics for marketing for referring physicians. And you know what I got back? You need to have CMEs. You need to have open houses. You need to, do lunch and learns. That's what people have been doing for 40 years, right? Those aren't novel ideas. It was very sad. So I wrote an article about how dated and antiquated our methods of marketing to referring physicians are. And I also published it on my blog, on one of my blogs here. And who responds but Lyle Green, who I had never met, but I knew of. He's at MD Anderson. And in my article, I had really featured some of the work they're doing at MD Anderson because I actually love what they're doing there. And I met Lyle. And that's why we're here today. This relationship really blossomed through social media. And Lyle's been a great resource to us. Jill and I model some of the things we're doing at Cooper off of what Lyle does. Now, the reality is, and you guys face the same situation, we can't do everything that MD Anderson does. We don't have the resources that MD Anderson has in physician relations. So we had to pick and choose, what can we do effectively? And that's always the choice when you're dealing with marketing. What tools can we execute effectively for our organization? Some of the best practices, and I'm going to zip through these, that we saw, we're using, having a solid web portal, physician videos online, letting a referring doctor, meet your doctors online through video. And for, what the heck, why not do it? Let consumers meet your doctors through video as well. It serves two purposes. It's a wonderful thing. Experimentation with social media and physician blogs, and continuing to use some of the old tools. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's still a place for the old traditional newsletter and a PDF of the newsletter and some kind of electronic version. So I looked online and looking for best practices, and I saw Rush was doing a really academic-looking newsletter I like. What's that? University of Michigan. And then these are their physician portals or landing pages. And then I got to MD Anderson. And again, I was just doing my research for this project that Jill and I were doing together. And lo and behold, it was the first hospital or medical center I came to. You see what they have on their physician page? Twitter. I'm like, somebody is using social media. Really, I had not seen another hospital at this time using social media to reach physicians. I was elated. Here's an opportunity. The other thing I noticed about MD Anderson was the language they use to talk to referring physicians. They clearly understand the referring physician. They understand, what's the number one fear of the referring physician? I'm not going to get my patient back, right? First thing they do is establish a voice that's reassuring, helping you help your patient. It's collaborative, right? That immediately in the headline. I loved it. And then I saw, look, here's their Twitter account with their 2,900 followers, their Facebook account, and these are just for physicians. I was really encouraged. And then I saw people like Mayo using video. And that's awesome. This is their referring physician landing page. They cite all their different research, and with a lot of the research they have, learn more and view the video. You click, you meet the physician actually talking about it. So I'm just not making a referral to somebody's CV. I'm making a referral to somebody I've seen and listened to and talked to. I get an idea of who that physician is by watching the video. And here's the video when you click through on Mayo's page. I love what Tufts has done. Tufts is one of my clients. I'll disclose that up front. This page that they have is tuftsmedicalcenter.tv. You can go on and visit all of their different physicians and different specialties. You click, you get a 2-minute video. They aren't excessively long. They're really well done. They're all shot against the same white backdrop. Just very well done. If you're a referring physician, or a patient for that matter, you can meet some terrific docs that way. And then blogs for reaching physicians. I love the Swedish model for their blog. Because if you try to set up a blog for every one of your physicians, that's a ton of work. So what Swedish does is they have a blog, and these are all the contributors, as many as I could fit in a screenshot. There were more than this, but they're doctors. They have some non-physician contributors as well. They let patients contribute. But they have this forum for their docs to contribute blog posts. They don't have to write a post every week. They could write a post once every 6 months, once every 2 months. So it's a realistic tool. They've designed it in a way that I think is very usable for all of you. Trying to do a blog focused around 2 or 3 doctors is a lot of work. But if you've got 12 or 15 or 20 docs, that's not too much work for them to every so often write a blog post. I love it. It's just, I like ideas that you can actually do. You know? So often we try to do things that's unrealistic. But there are some docs who do a great job. Brian Barbadians' blog, I love this. If you guys don't follow Brian, just as a healthcare marketer, he'd be a great guy to follow. Howard Lux, I love Howard. He's an orthopedic surgeon, does a great job. He's a real social media early adopter, especially for a surgeon. Terrific. He's a great representative of his hospital. Now, you know the sad thing about Howard's blog? Anybody know? His hospital doesn't let him use their name. What a missed opportunity. I guess they're afraid Howard will say something crazy. Howard's not going to say something crazy. He's a great advocate for that organization. But that's the way it is. The physician-only communities, the key with these is getting your docs involved. Find a doc who's an early adopter, who understands social media. Not every doctor is going to want to do this. But if you can find 1 or 2 who are willing, they get involved. By being involved in these communities, they build up trust among the referring physicians. You can see my 3 T's. You know, it's a time-saving tool. You can communicate with other physicians without having to meet face-to-face. And it's highly topical. If I'm interested in orthopedics, I go to the orthopedics community on Sermo or on Doximity or whatever. On LinkedIn, again, I already told you I love LinkedIn. Here's Cooper and MD Anderson on LinkedIn speaking to physicians. It's a great tool. Physicians trust LinkedIn. Go ahead.
Real quick.
No, it's fine.
The blog that you had before,
yeah.
That's a physician-only blog?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted to clarify, because you kind of, so we really wouldn't be able to go in to see that unless we had access to that. Is that correct?
Well, like Howard's blog?
Well, Howard, do you think you said? That's what I'm confused about, I guess.
Howard's is a public blog, so anyone can read it, patient, referring docs, and so on.
But some of those others that you're, I guess in general...
Those are all public.
They're all...
And I'm recommending, if you do a physician blog to speak to other referring physicians, I still recommend you keep it public.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for even the physicians to find it. You know, I mean, you can promote it to the physicians in direct communication, but I would keep it public, because if a patient finds it, it's not the end of the world. I want the voice to be a physician-to-physician voice. Absolutely. Good question. I appreciate you asking it. Look at this. These are MD Anderson stats, and anyone can access these on LinkedIn. Just looking at who they're talking to, it's no surprise around Houston, 48% of the people are coming from there. 18% of the people are into research. But you can see they're reaching a pretty high level, senior level person within their organization. And I started to say that, you know, this is one medium that physicians do trust. Physicians feel comfortable. It's not Facebook. You know, they feel like this is much more serious, it's much more business oriented. So it's a great way to try to bring them together, because in the end, this is about community building. You know, my philosophy about marketing is about community building. In the end, what you are trying to do is create a sense of community and give these physicians a sense of belonging and trust and all those things that come with community. Now Jill's going to get up and share what we were able to do at Cooper and what we continue to do, because it is a process. There you are.
Yes, it is.